Welcome to another episode of SaaS Stories. Today is actually quite a different episode because typically I interview SaaS founders who have launched their business. But today I've got quite an inspirational story for you of Syed, who, after walking away from a blue chip CFO career in a safe, secure, well-known organization, went out on a motorbike trip starting from Europe to go around the rest of the world in 5 years. And whilst in Switzerland, inside a gym, he was hit with his brilliant SaaS idea and has subsequently spent the last 18 months bootstrapping a gym fitness SaaS business to life and is on the cusp of launching in August, which is in just 2 short weeks. Syed, welcome.
Thank you. Thanks, Joe. Thanks for having me.
Of course, how exciting. I guess my first question really is tell us your origin story of Inzer. What inspired you to create a gym tech SaaS business?
Oh, it's a long story, and there are lots of parts to it.
We want
Uh,
to hear
it's
all of
not
it.
it's not the typical Silicon Valley college dropout who creates a multi-million dollar company by mid-20s. That's definitely not it. I started my career as an accountant, worked in the Big Four, then went to corporate, worked for around 10 years. And there's a big element of a big personal element to it, and that is um, since I started reading, I read a lot of philosophy. There's been a lot of history, and I'd say there was also a huge impact of just one podcast that I used to follow religiously, and that was the Tim Ferriss Show. And it was books like I've had a I am I read a lot now, and it was
Mm.
books like the top five regrets of the dying and 4,000 weeks and reading Seneca and Paulo Coelho. It was all of these combined that led me to think like you just get this one life and you want to do something meaningful in it. And I just wanted something more from life than working as an accountant for 30, 40 years of my life and then retiring. And on the Tim Ferriss show, I would I would listen to these interviews of really inspiring people who were doing these phenomenal things in life. And they weren't necessarily uh, huge financially, they were just very impactful things. And I just wanted something more useful and impactful with my life. And I quit my career. It was paying very well, and it was. I must admit, I was living the life. I still live at Bondi Beach, literally in front of the beach. It is the place to be, one of probably the best places in the world to live in. And I was getting paid well. Life was pretty good, and it was not a good decision, probably not a wise decision, I would say, leaving all that behind, leaving that comfort zone behind. And my company had offered me a even better position than what I was working at, the position that I was at. And in that conversation, I told my boss that, look, I cannot say yes now because I need to think. And I think he was a bit surprised too that I didn't say yes because most of the people would say yes to that. And I remember I caught up with a friend of mine who just lives here in Sydney too. And I told him that my company's offered me this position and I'm not sure if I should take it. And he is a very structured and organized guy, thinks very logically. And he's like, you'd be insane not to take this position. He said, you take this position, you work for a couple of years, and then you're going to be a CFO for the rest of your life with these blue chip companies and so on, and life's going to be very comfortable. And I just told him that's not what inspires me. I just want something more meaningful in life. And I told my boss that eventually I can't take it. And I sold my motorbike here. I have always loved motorbikes. I have this huge passion for motorbikes. And I bought one in Germany and I started traveling across Europe. And the plan was just to read and travel. And that was the only thing I wanted to do. And as I was traveling, because I'm a bit of a gym junkie as well, I knew wherever I was going to stay, there had to be a gym nearby. So I knew where I was going to work out in the morning. And when I was in Switzerland, I went to this very fancy, expensive gym, 3 levels, very nice equipment, and people inside had no idea what they were doing. And I thought this is such a common pattern because I've been working out for quite some time, and I thought this is a very common pattern across different multiple continents, regardless wherever you are. People, it's a lot of people who go to the gyms don't know what they're doing, and it is this. When I saw this, I thought there has to be a solution to this, and I still completed my travels from Switzerland to Spain and eventually parked my bike at a friend's garage and flew back to Sydney and started working on Inzer. So it was a mix of a lot of different moving parts that eventually led to where I am today.
Yeah, yeah. What an amazing story. It sounds like you obviously had a gut feel that went all against logic, which is, follow this really logical part of becoming CFO, but no, I need to do something that has more meaning. And then just traveling and coming up with this idea that I suppose, and I don't know, all this time you just would have been going to the gyms and just seeing this market opportunity, like this is happening all over the world, not just in Australia. Um, I love gyms myself. I see it in Australia all the time. That there's definitely a need for something like this. But you're seeing it all over the world. And I suppose, can you elaborate on the gap that you identified and what you were seeing in the market?
So, I'd probably start from Australia because I've been working out here for quite some time. And I have seen this very common pattern where you go and there are these people who regularly come to the gym and they don't know how to work out properly, despite there being some sort of instructions available. And the cycle, like when you sign up for the gym, the cycle is not very helpful. And what I mean by that is that I remember when I signed up for a gym, it's very important for them to make you sign some indemnity form just to protect them legally, which is completely understandable. But they give you a round of the gym and tell you just about the basic facilities, and then you sign up for the gym and off you go. Some gyms might offer 1 or 2 free PT sessions just to attract new customers, but that just depends from gym to gym. And in that, no gym would ever probably take the time to show each and every customer how to use equipment properly and safely. And eventually, if someone wants to achieve something or coming to the gym, they just don't know what to do and how to begin. And that's where there's this huge gap. And I thought there has to be a better way around it. And there's a different part to it too, because um, there are a lot of gym equipment that comes with some sort of stickers or instructions, but no one pays any attention to them. And the problem is so huge. Just to give you an example, like Life Fitness is one of the biggest brands in the world, and their equipment is present in uh, tens of thousands of gyms around the world, if not millions, if not hundreds of thousands. And millions of people use it every single day, and they've got QR codes on their equipment. And if you scan those QR codes, they usually take you to a YouTube link. Considering millions of people use this equipment every single day, and those videos have been uploaded since about 10 years, you only see like 17,000 views, 18,000 views, which just shows that no one is actually paying attention to these and people are doing things incorrectly rather than doing a bit of an extra effort there. And that's where I saw there is an opportunity and there's a problem that needs to be fixed.
Yeah, I'm actually really surprised you said that because I've been going to the gym for probably like 20, I'm going to show my age now, but 20 years since graduating. And I gotta say, I don't think I've seen those QR codes. I don't think they're very visible. So it's very interesting that you say that. I don't think the equipment is kind of making it easy for people to find a good way. It's funny you mentioned those stickers. I remember when I first started going to the gym, I was so confused by them. I had no idea what they were saying. I mean, they kind of just have like color over the muscles you're meant to be working out, but past that, I had no idea what I was doing. I think I got really lucky in the end because one of my good friends was a personal trainer and he kind of took me under his wing. But a lot of people don't actually have that opportunity, unfortunately. Um, Tell me a little bit about the key features of Inzer then. How is it different? Tell me about the app and how does it help people train better and connect with others in the gym?
Okay, so lots in there to explore. Um, so initially when we started, as I'd mentioned, the initial idea was to show people how to use gym equipment properly and safely. And this is how we initially started. Um, but somewhere at very early stages, someone asked me a very important question from a startup standpoint. And the question was, what is your business? What is your value proposition to the business? And I thought, if I'm taking my product to the gym and say, if you install this, people will know how to use the gym equipment properly and safely. And it's not a very attractive proposition to the gyms because there has to be a lot more value in it for them. And that's where we started looking into what are the deeper problems that gyms and fitness centers are facing, and how do we address these problems through our technology. And that's where our technology started. We started adding new features to our technology. So instead of just having a feature that shows people how to use gym equipment properly and safely, we added a lot more features. Now, one of the biggest problem that the fitness industry is facing is churn, which is retention. And fitness industry has one of the highest churn rates for any industry in the world, from 15% to 50%. Which means at the higher end, gyms are in this perpetual cycle of trying to find and replace the members that are leaving. And so just to be able to survive. And this is a huge problem for the industry. And then I dug deeper into why are members leaving. And there were some common problems in there. And one of the biggest problem was people don't get results. And it was all making sense that people don't get results because they don't know what they're doing, and or they get injured. So these were all connected problems. And then we thought, how about we add another feature to our platform, which is we bring in workouts within our system. And now people will not only know how to use the gym equipment, but people who want to follow a fitness program, they would have access to a fitness program. And if they want to follow a certain routines for a week or two, that will give them a head start and a good start. So that was another feature that we added. With so now people will have access to workouts within gym, and this will be free access. So this is where we're very different from what's out in the market. Is if you want to get an app, it's usually a paid app if you want to access all the features. And this where we're different is because we're not B2C, we're B2B2C. So for anyone who wants to use our platform, for them it's free. While we're doing research, another key statistic at study that came out was when people train together, they tend to have a lot more discipline, and working out in teams is a lot better than people who go alone. And that's when we started thinking about how can we connect people inside gym. And that's where we created the gym social feature, which is the first of its kind to the global market that connects members inside the gym. And what it does is, let's say you have moved to Bondi, and there's a well-known gym here, Beach Fit. And let's say I'm a regular member at Beach Fit, and you're new here, so you want to train with someone, and you can say tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. you want to train legs. Now, once you publish your profile, everyone in the gym will be able to see that you want to train with someone. And the purpose of this feature is to connect people. So if I want to train with you, I can accept and message you and say, hey, do you want to train together? So that will bring a lot of sense of community within gyms. And this is something where boutique fitness centers do a lot better than traditional gyms because they do offer that sense of community. And that's why retention in boutique fitness centers is a lot better than traditional gyms. So that's why we are bringing this feature to traditional gyms where people can connect, and it's a more friendly environment. So there's a big social aspect to it too. And then at the same time, there are more studies that have shown that if management connects with their members twice a month, the retention goes up by 33%. And 33% for a gym is a huge number from a retention standpoint. So then what we did was we add another feature where management can run surveys and live feedback and have more interaction with their members, so that if there's any feedback that members have about the gym, they can share that with management directly. So this is how the idea and the product has evolved. And these were, like I said, it's been a journey starting just from one feature, and then the product has, I wouldn't call it exploded, but it has certainly evolved into a lot of new features now.
Yeah. That's amazing. I love that you've identified this as like, the main cause of why a lot of people are leaving gyms as well. I think, connecting people is such a big part of it, of, wanting to train, wanting to go to the gym, because it's more a social aspect as well as, I want to get healthy, I want to get strong. I'm very excited for this feature. I think it's absolutely brilliant. It definitely keeps you more accountable. It's always hard to find a workout buddy, and even if you have one, they're probably not anywhere near you at that time. So this is really exciting. I'm really excited for this feature.
That is true. Like I was having a conversation with someone a while back, and the person said, how is it different from a WhatsApp group? And I said, on a WhatsApp group, you can have someone from Anytime Fitness, and someone from Beach Fit, and someone from Fitness First, and someone from a non-franchise gym, and you can have like hundreds of people. Now, someone who's got membership with Anytime Fitness cannot go to Fitness First or Snap Fitness or any other gym, whereas our product connects people within that specific gym only, and which is why it is so different and it is so relevant that if you have a WhatsApp group or another platform where it will really limit how people can train together, whereas we are actually connecting people within that specific gym with one another.
Yeah. No, that's brilliant. I think, loneliness is just going higher and higher. I think it's such a big deal in society at the moment that, this is just such a great way to connect with new people and make friends and do it in a healthy way as well. So it's
It,
brilliant.
that is absolutely correct what you've mentioned. So when I was doing, there's been a lot of research going at the back end while we're developing features. And the loneliness part is so relevant that I read the study somewhere in the US. It said that more than 40% of the people go to the gym just to socialize, just to
Hmm.
be able to talk to people and connect. And what's happening in a lot of the gyms, the traditional gyms these days, is people just wear their headphones and earphones, and no one is connecting with anyone. So that's where our feature will be very different, where those people who do want to go to a gym to connect with someone, now they will be able to connect with people relatively easy than trying to talk to someone who's got headphones and earphones on.
Yeah, that's so true. That's amazing. Now obviously launching a startup, especially in the world of SaaS, comes with some challenges. So I'm curious, when you started developing this, obviously you must have been very excited by the idea and, getting this out there. But what challenges did you face by, through developing and preparing to launch?
Oh, I think I could probably talk for hours on this one. Look, at the beginning, one of the biggest challenge for us was because our product is not simply a software product, it has some hardware features too. So it's hardware and software and videography and animation and AI, and there's so many moving parts to it that one of the challenges that I came across early on was to find the right hardware designers who could make those designs for us that we needed. I logged onto some freelance websites like Fiverr, and I contracted to industrial designers and mechanical engineers, and I told them what I wanted created, and they asked for anywhere between 6 to 8 weeks, and when the designs that they gave me, they had absolutely misunderstood what I needed. And I thought there has to be a different way around this. So I went to a design firm here in Surrey Hills, close to where I live. There was a design firm there. I spoke to them about the idea. They said we need about 6 to 8 weeks and we will create some designs for you. And the quote that they gave me was just um, through the roof. Let's just put it that way. I just couldn't do it. And then uh, because there's some part of our manufacturing is happening in China, and I was going to go to China anyway. So I started looking for manufacturers in China that had design and engineering teams as well. So these were relatively larger businesses because China is kind of the manufacturing hub of the world. So you can find lots of manufacturers there, but then when you're trying to find the ones that are relevant for you, uh, they have to be kind of like bigger businesses who've got that design and engineering teams. And talking of challenges reminds me of a very interesting story. So I'd applied for an urgent business visa to China, and it was at the Chinese consulate in Sydney. And I got an invitation and letter from manufacturers in China. I booked my flights, accommodation, and I went there on Friday to submit my application on Friday morning. And they said, collect your passport on Tuesday with your visa. At 6:30 p.m., usually when the consulate times are way over their normal operations, I get this call from an unknown number. And they said, is this Said? And I said, yes. They said, we're calling from the Chinese consulate. And they said, you know how we told you you can get your visa in 2 days? They said your visa will take at least 2 months. And they said, do you still want to proceed or do you want to collect your passport? And for me, that was such a big blow. That was like a huge blow because I couldn't afford the manufacturers and the designers here. And that was my only hope. And if a country cannot give you visa, there's just nothing you can do. That's just totally out of your control. And I remember that was that was a very disappointing day. And I asked them, I said, look, what's the reason? You guys said it's going to take 2 days. And they said, we don't give any reasons. And they said, you just have to either collect your passport or you have to wait. And I said, I will wait. On Monday morning, on Sunday, I wrote a letter to the Chinese ambassador. And on Monday morning, I was at the Chinese embassy in Canberra. I drove to Canberra. I was the first person at the embassy. And I went to the staff there and I said, look, I have written an urgent letter to the ambassador, and can you please deliver it to him? And of course, they said, look, it's a Chinese ambassador to Australia. He has a lot more important things to do than to look at visa cases. And they said, we cannot help you. But I think I'd probably give myself some credit there where I just stuck there and I was like, no, you have to give me a way out. I need help and you have to help me. Like, if it's not the ambassador who can help me, who can help me? I'm not just gonna leave and say, okay, well, you can't help me. And after arguing with them for about 20 to 30 minutes, they said, why don't you go back to the consulate? Because they had said to you that your visa is going to take a very long time and only they can fix it for you, and we will communicate with them. And I said, okay. So on Monday, I drove back to Sydney. I changed the letter from the Honorable Ambassador to the Honorable Consulate General. And on Tuesday morning, I was back at the consulate. And you know, like how consulates and embassies are not very organized, lots of people. I got there, and there was a girl who was looking after all the people who were submitting applications. And I went to her and I literally held her hand and I said, look, this is extremely important. And I said, can you please give this to the consulate general? And all of these people were staring at me like, what is he doing? You know, very inappropriate. And I said, this is very important and I really need your help. And she just took that letter from me and she said, okay. I just kept looking at her as she went in the office. Normally in embassies and consulates, things go in a tray and you just have to wait. But I saw this girl took that letter somewhere. I don't know where, but she went somewhere. And in about an hour and a half, I got a call from them. And in the call, they said, we've given you your visa. So just come and collect it. So I think that was a huge achievement where I think persistence paid off, and there's been lots of challenges like that throughout the whole way, and it's just about pivoting and being persistent and not giving up and finding a way. So yeah, that's just one of the few challenges that I came across at very early stages, and it's been like that. Look, this was probably the one that I remember very well, but there's been lots of stories like that.
Yeah, well, I think persistence is a key skill if you're going to be running a successful startup, or especially in the world of tech and SaaS. It's such a brilliant skill. I keep hearing stories like this with the really, just everyone that's had the amazing ideas and have gone through so many obstacles, and yet they've persisted, and now they're like the next unicorns. Um, just amazing, I think. I mean, with that in mind, I suppose struggles are probably not behind you. There's probably still a lot to go. However, what are your future plans for Inzer?
Oh, look, we're at early stages, and I'd probably get a bit philosophical here, and I usually joke that those books that I've read have definitely rubbed me the wrong way, where I have just gone, I go really, the, the meaning and impact of things is a lot deeper than anything else. And I was having a conversation with someone a while back. I was when I was looking for funding, and I was having a conversation with the VC and a good friend of mine who's been helping on and off. I said, look, I'm having this conversation with the VC. This is the valuation they're offering, and this is the funding they're offering. Can I sign a contract? Should I sign a contract? And he said, look, this is stage one. And he said, yes, do it. And then it's stage two, and then stage three. And he said, you can exit the company at 60 or $80 million in your bank account and move on to something else. And I just could not relate to that. Like, I am, as cliche as it sounds, I am not doing this for money, you know? And I thought that proposition of exiting the company with 60 or $80 million just did not feel attractive at all. And I said to him, I said, look, I want to get something out of this company. I want this to be something that can make an impact in this world. And if I sell this company and exit it, it will lose that direction. and he probably thought I was too philosophical, and this is not how I should be, but this is how I am. So talking about that, what we're doing is right now we're bringing and we're creating these algorithms um, that create different kinds of workouts for you according to what you want to achieve, what your objectives are. And that is just the beginning. So, and the AI will adopt automatically as your workouts are changing and as you are evolving and as we keep adding new workouts to the library. What I'm more interested in is in what, so this is stage one of our product. And what I'm really keen is what we want to achieve in the long term, which is stage two. So what I want to bring in is this feature, what we call a body scanner. And what a body scanner will do is literally scan your body pre-workout, and then you finish your workout, and then you scan your body post-workout. Because our platform integrates everything, so we will know how the body is changing with the tiny changes that are occurring in the body on daily basis with different workouts. And based on that, we will start creating very precise algorithms for people according to their age, their body type, their goals, and so on. And the more we refine this, now there is direct correlation between muscle retention and longevity, because the more muscle mass you have in your body, the slower it is that your tissues are decaying or as we age. So in the long term, what we want is that we have very precise data about what leads to living a better and healthy life. And the more and more data we have in future, I want to use that towards scientific research into health span, lifespan, and life sciences. And that's what excites me. And that's what I want to achieve in the long term.
Sounds amazing. I mean, it's just completely going to change the world of gyms. It's going to bring in, connections. It's going to bring in data, which I think is crucial because that's the other problem people have is they go to the gym, they're not really seeing immediate results. They're not really knowing how to measure that properly, aside from just jumping on the scales or looking in the mirror. So this is just such a game changer. I'm so excited to see this in my gym.
Oh, I'm looking for fingers crossed. I was having this conversation with a mate of mine at the gym, Adam, and this is just day before yesterday. And we're having this conversation where so Adam comes to gym as regularly as I go. We're at the gym almost every single day. And because he knows I've been working on this startup for some time. And Adam said that, look, I've been struggling. He said, I record everything in Excel. I know um, XYZ. They're all recording their data. Someone's using a diary, someone's using an Excel, a phone, their notes, and so on. And he said, can you help us with your technology where we can record this and everything is recording according to day? And if we want to see how what's changing, we have a progression. And ironically, that's what we have recently integrated into our platform. And I showed him what we've recently created, and he got really excited. And I said, that's what we're doing. So it certainly helps with so many features like tracking your workouts, how you're progressing through time, what changes are occurring in your body, connecting people inside gyms. And then that's just the beginning. So lots and lots of good things to come up.
Really, it sounds like you're not short of any ideas. And in fact, it's already there's so many on the go. Are there any other features that are in your mind that you're pushing towards maybe the future or maybe global aspirations of different countries to launch in?
Look, certainly, Australia is the beginning. I've had, it's interesting you've asked this question because last week someone reached out to me from Italy and they've created this very elaborate proposal. and for the European market. And this gentleman said that I want to take your product to the European market. I love it, what you've made, and I can do some introductions to some huge brands like Technogym and so on. And so we're definitely looking at taking our product out of the Australian market. And I told the gentleman that, look, we are definitely going to be doing that, but we want to make sure we've got everything right before we get out of Australia. So once we have 100% confidence that the customers in Australia are satisfied, they love what they're seeing. We've done those little experimentations. We've integrated all the feedback that the customers have given us. Then we're going to go step by step. And the good thing about our product is it attaches to any piece of gym equipment from Sydney to Oslo to London, LA, Rio, Santiago, Cape Town, and so on. So once we've achieved that, um, once we've integrated all the feedback from our customers in Australia, then scaling the product globally will not be a problem. And as we're creating algorithms and more precise algorithms, the more data we have, the better it will be for us to create better algorithms. And that's why even when someone has suggested selling the company for some amount of money or taking it in a different direction, I have resisted that, saying that, look, what we want to achieve is something different, and that value of the company and that vision is so important that we don't want to compromise on that. I remember through different conversations with entrepreneurs, just a few months ago, I was offered a proposal by another entrepreneur who wanted to make the product B2C. And we had a couple of meetings where he said, we should do this, we'll do that. He would make all the investment if we provide our technology and all our workouts library. And I resisted. And I said, no, look, I want to finish what I've started. And once this has gone where we want it to go, we can certainly look for collaborations and partnerships. But it is so important for us to not lose track of what we've started, and our vision and values are the most important thing after all.
Yeah. It really is, just from listening to you, it really sounds like this is your baby, basically. You're not going to sell it. You just want to see it grow into just the most amazing little scale up. I mean, it's only been 18 months, but we've already touched on the importance of resilience, the importance of partnerships, the importance of finding a gap in the market. So many tips and nuggets of insights that you've shared with me just on this podcast. Are there any other tips or advice that you would give to anyone listening out there that, is either in it at the moment, trying to make it work, putting in all the hard work, maybe just needing that inspiration? Any kind of tips that you can give those people?
So I'd probably, if people are listening to this, they're going to hate me for this, for being very philosophical again. But there is a toxic environment in the startup world where young people want to come in and make quick dollars and exit. And that's just not the way it is. And that's not how it should be. If you think you're going to create something at 20 or 25 or 30 and sell it after 2 years for $5 or $10 million, I just think it's very unlikely to be successful in that scenario. So I can share from my experience is that you want to be in something for long term, and you want to solve the problems that you come across in your life. And it is so simple. We all come across lots of problems. I wouldn't say not on a daily basis, but on a regular basis, we come across problems. And if you want to find a solution to those problems, that is a lot more practical than sitting on ChatGPT and trying to search what the problem is and then finding a solution to that, because you may not have that personal experience with that. So the first thing is don't do it just for the money, that you are in it just for the money for the short term and then move on to something else. The second one will be you have to be resilient. Like if you if you're not resilient as a startup, I don't think I can confidently say that no startup founder had it easy. Like it's not like you started and everything goes according to plan. I remember um, when the first batch of video production and animation that we're doing, this was around April last year. And my videographer and animator at the time, she's actually a good friend too, Emma. And when we were doing our first shoot, before the first shoot, we had a coffee, and I said to Emma, I said, well, let's hope things go according to plan. And Emma said, say, you are starting a startup. And if you think things are going to go according to plan, you're in for a big disappointment. And those were really good words. I remember Emma's words. So it is so important to understand that there will be difficult times and you have to learn how to adjust and pivot. At the same time, I think one of the huge uh, advantage I've had is a strong circle of good friends. I could not have been here without advice of so many people around me. And I rely on advice of a lot of people around me. So it's not a solo journey. I think it was Arnold who said, there is no such thing in this world as self-made.
Yeah.
Anyone who thinks that he is self-made, he or she is self-made, has absolute no understanding of how life and things work. And wherever we get in life, there are so many people around us, and they make a huge difference. So be open, have those conversations, ask questions. Wherever people can help you, ask them to help you. At the beginning, I was very protective of what I was creating. And I thought someone's going to steal my idea and it's just going to go down the drains. And I now I know how wrong I was. The more I've shared my idea with people, the more they have helped and the better the product has become. So lots in there, but it is a long journey, and every entrepreneur will walk their own journey. There is no one fixed journey. It's not like my journey is the right journey, or someone else is the right journey. So everyone has to walk their own journey, and it can be very different from someone else.
I love that. It was in fact Arnold that wrote that. I recently read his book and I absolutely loved that quote as well. You may have read The Obstacle is the Way by Ryan Holiday.
No, I have it on my reading list, but I haven't read it yet. No.
That is perfect for when you're looking for some resilience because it's really helped me. I mean, when things are going wrong and you're just like, why am I still doing this? Reading that book really helps get you through the moments because you then realize actually it is about the journey. It's not there's no destination because you just keep going and going. It's all about the journey. So just try and enjoy it as much as possible.
Look, I could not agree anymore. So I have there's a list of, and we all use our notes a lot, I guess, but in my notes, one of the notes that I refer to a lot is principles for my life. And the first one literally is that it's a very short life. Enjoy the journey before it ends. And it is so important that we don't forget that.
Absolutely. Say, thank you so much for sharing your story. I do like to end on a positive question. It's really, and I'm actually really excited to hear yours because of just the whole stories that I've heard so far. But what do you look forward to in the future?
Um, there there's a short-term answer to it and there's a long-term answer to it. And the short-term answer is um, I'm looking forward to our product to be installed in more and more places around the world. And in the long term, what I'm looking forward to is that we've created a product in collaboration with science that helps people age in a good way. I'm gonna get old, you're gonna get old, we're all gonna get old. And I was just having this conversation with someone yesterday, a friend of mine. He was talking about his mom, how she is having, she wants to walk, but she cannot walk, and she thinks she can walk. So when I listened to his story, it just, I couldn't help but feel it. Like, so helping these people, if you are 17 or if you are 87, I want you to be able to achieve what you want to achieve in your life physically, you know. And that is so important that when we age gracefully. We are in a time where there is so much focus on young people and beauty and six pack and so on. And we don't understand and realize the fact that in our lives, there are lots of people who are not from 18 to 38. That is just a very small age bracket. There are lots of people who are living their lives before that and after that. And it's making a difference in their lives in the long term. That is something that excites me and I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, absolutely. Not just about lifespan, but also health span and just
100%.
allowing everyone to live their best lives until the very end.
Absolutely.
Amazing. Hey, thank you so much. Really appreciate you being on the show.
Thank you so much for having me, Joe. It was great.